But hello, Jens.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, just to introduce Jens, as I've introduced everyone else, Jens is the founder or co-founder of OnTank, which is an online marketplace for the rental fashion market. Yeah, Jens, when we met and you kind of dumbed down and simplified the entire business concept and your mission, you kind of said to me, yeah, OnTank's it's gonna disrupt the fashion sector the same way that Spotify disrupted music. And for me, that was really, yeah, that resonated because Spotify definitely did that. But I guess the difference is that OnTank, whereas Spotify disrupted the market and made billionaire musicians slightly poorer, you're going to make the planet Earth much richer by helping the fashion industry become more sustainable environmentally and financially. So yeah, Jens, over to you to tell your story.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you, Caroline, Alexander, Fredrik, for really interesting presentation so far. So let me share my screen and my presentation. Bear with me. So we already touched a lot about the current challenges we have. Fredrik touched about how big the fashion industry is, one of the world's biggest industries so far, but also one of the biggest polluters. Fashion companies, as we know, struggles with moving to circularity, minimizing the pollution, defrost, having taken more social responsibility, tackling the ever-increasing complexity with the global supply chain. And we also have an interesting challenge in that, in a way, the industry created for themselves, because overproduction led to sale, because you still needed to sell what you produced. And I think, at least for myself, I can't remember when I bought more expensive fashion paying full price. And I think most of the consumers now are waiting to buy something when it's a sale, because we have sales all the time. We have Valentine's Day sales, we have Single Day, we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, seasonal sales, buy 3, pay for 2. It goes on. And Fredrik also and Alex talked about the big changes that the industry is impacting. All of us have been impacted by the global pandemic. None of us know what the new normal will be, but we do know that the new normal will be different than we knew pre-corona. Personally, I think the biggest changes that will shape the new normal for the fashion industry will be technology, 3D printing of fashion, and the new upcoming consumer Generation Z, and the younger generation Alpha, because what they will do is jump directly to access services, because that's what they are brought up with. So let's talk about the economy and the numbers, because it doesn't matter how much we want to change if you have a fashion company and can't survive and earn money. So there is a report from Global Data, May 2019, that calculated the market, and it was focused on the US market only. But resale or secondhand 2019 were worth roughly $24 billion US, compared to the fast fashion industry was roughly 35,000 billion. In just 8 years from now, the resale or secondhand market for fashion will be worth $64 billion US, compared to the fast fashion that will be 44. So a quite big change in a quite short term. And the other part of the fashion industry change, if you connect it to the actual money, is we see a vast increase number of players within the subscription market. Rent the Runway is definitely one of the pioneers here, but you also see a lot of pioneers within Europa. You see a lot of rental subscription market players in India and China and in other East Asian companies as well. So once again, the US market, this is the data for the US market because it's still a lot of moving targets here. But just the subscription market for fashion will in 5 years grow from 1 billion to 2.5 and have an annual growth of around 20%. And that is comparing, and then you have to compare it to the global fashion market. I think that grows roughly 6%. So rental subscription market is growing much, much quicker than the overall fashion market in its total. So what do we from Omtank see will be the major revenue streams for a fashion company? We think that the biggest revenues will be secondhand or resale, and you already see that now. But we also think, especially when, as Freddie talked about, content, everything is driven by content. And especially when we have a good enough technology connected to 3D printing of clothes, then a fashion company will be more a design royalty-based company than actually a manufacturer or producers. So we see that these two revenue streams will be the biggest ones in the future. When this will happen, probably in the same time frame as we saw the shift for the music industry. It took the music industry roughly 15 years to change from selling CDs to be predominant streaming only. So I think 2018 was the year when streaming took over to become its biggest revenue stream for the music industry compared to physical sales of music. But it took time, and I think the fashion industry will take a little bit longer time because it is a physical product. And I think the combination of existing business model for fashion will exist, but we will see that the bigger companies in the future will earn the most of the money within these two parts of the fashion industry. So we talked a lot about the changes, the challenges, and they are really exciting. And if we talk about just how big change it was for the fashion industry to adapt to e-commerce, I think that took a lot of time. And I used to work for a really big global fashion house called H&M. I think most of you know this brand. But it took H&M more than 10, I would say more than 15 years to adapt to e-commerce. And I will think that the total revenue from a behemoth like H&M driven from e-commerce is still only around 20%. And if H&M as a global behemoth struggling with this adaptation, just imagine how hard it is for smaller fashion houses. So that's why we came and developed Omtank starting 3 years ago, but we did it with a purpose. So and the purpose was to really fight for what we are really passionate about, and that's UN sustainability goals. And we are especially focused on goal number 8, 10, and 12. And everything we have developed, technology, the business model, our partner program, how you as a fashion company partner could to work with us, how our end user service works, are based on promoting and increasing the contribution to these 3 sustainability goals. So if you want to know more, where we're running out of time, so I will keep it short, contact us and we will talk about how we can help your fashion company tap into the changes that Alexander talked about, that Frederick talked about. But we from Omtank have developed as a managed service to make it really easy and quick for you as a fashion company to actually start with. Because we think if it's easy for you and the end consumer, we hope that this change will the sustainability change will be accelerated, and it has to be. I think the global pandemic does show the importance of it also. So we hope that the future headlines for the fashion industry will be measured in different KPIs than today. So we hope that we will see headlines like the fashion company reduce the global use of resources but still earn more money, because we truly believe that is possible. We'll also hope that with changing business model, partnering up with Omtank, we can also help you to develop other developing countries. And we also think and want to help the transition to the digital technology in fashion that Fredrik talked about, and moving towards a royalty-based fashion house as well. So that was really short. I kept it short also because of time, and we do have the Q&A. So
yeah, thank you, Jens. Thanks for fast tracking the presentation. We made it just on time. We are on the hour, but we did want to make sure that we addressed everyone's questions and made some time available. So hopefully I'll speak for the other speakers when I say we'll stick around for a short amount of time. We can give it another 10-15 minutes to go through some questions. Jens, is that okay with you?
Sure.